Okay, I'm working on a Gravette Dispro, 1950. Doing some plank work on the bottom, and I do have to take the device out to do the plank work. Traditionally, these devices were installed with a white lead and varnish type bedding compound. You can get a product close to it now. It's called Dolphinite. Unfortunately, it's gotten super expensive. It's about between $90 and $110 US a quart. And that's if you go to the States or know somebody in the States to buy it. Unfortunately, they won't ship it to Canada anymore because they don't want to be bothered putting French on the label. But as an alternative to that, I've been using Sikaflex. I think it's a superior product. This device, whoever did it, they've installed the device with Sikaflex as well. The downside of Sikaflex is that it stays pliable and sticky, and might be a little more challenging to get this device out. With the bedding compound, it just kind of turns into powder over the years, and it's really no adhesion at all, other than gap filling, which is why I don't like it. Because when it dries out, it doesn't really seal anymore. It's good for the first few years, I guess, but I can tell by the squeeze out on this that this device has been put in with Sikaflex. So I'm going to just carry on driving the bolts out here. I've already taken the nuts off, and I've taken most of the mechanicals out, but I just use a punch. And a really heavy hammer. You want some impact. You use a little hammer, it'll just bounce. Because you want something with some authority here. I'm not going to film taking all the bolts out, but I'll come back to this later when I get to the fun part. Okay, I've got the bolts driven down, except for one at the front. I'm going to have to grab it's spinning, so I'm going to have to grab the head with vice grips. And because this is not going to come out without a fight, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the prop shaft out, which I'm going to have to take out anyway. Take the prop off, take the coupling off the front, and which will involve taking the rock shaft and the skeg out. I'm going to have to take that apart anyway. It just might be simpler to do it in the boat. So the first thing, as far as taking the prop out, will be to get the coupling off. So I'm going to do the coupling, take the coupling off first. Then I'll take the prop off and I'll get the shaft out. Okay, I've tried whacking it with a hammer a couple of times. That hasn't worked, so I've got a 3-jaw puller on here. Actually, in a perfect world, this is almost a slip fit because you want the position of the coupling to be fairly reliable so the face is parallel or 90 degrees to the center line of the shaft. If it's a wobbly fit and easy to put on, then the coupling can be cocked either way. So it's better actually to have it too tight than too loose. Just a bit of a pain to get it off. I see that this shaft has been fitted with a key, which is quite unusual for a St. Lawrence boat. Normally it's just grub screws in the coupling, but anyway, I'm going to have to get the key out because the shaft is going to have to slide through the stuffing box at one point. Usually side cutters are the best tool to get this off. So I guess with the keyway in here, it is not really reversible, so I didn't really have to bother with marking which way it goes. It will only go on one way. Side cutters make a nice job of getting a key out like that. So the next, okay, I'm underneath the boat now, just in the process of taking the prop off. It's usually got two grub screws in here. One thing I also do is I mark the direction of the prop. I'm pretty good at figuring it out by the cup and the blades, but the one problem with a prop with a straight bore in it is you can put the prop on backwards. I mean, it will work, but it won't be nearly as efficient as if it goes on the right way. So I just put an arrow in there so I don't mess it up later on. Here's the skeg. So that'll be the next job, is to get the skeg out. Okay, now that I've got the prop shaft out, inside I've taken the cover off here. The purpose for this cover is to conceal this bolt. There's a bolt in here. It's usually 9/16 or 5/8. In this case it happens to be a 5/8. No, I was wrong. Sorry, it's 9/16. Anyway, I'm going to loosen that bolt. I'm going to take these two nuts off. This collar here will slide out. It's got a pin to keep it from rotating on the shaft. It's important to be gentle with that. Then after that, I'm going to take the bolt out of here, and I'll take the brake bands off, take the handle off, and then this drum will slide off, and that will allow me to just drive the rock shaft through here very gently, hitting it with a block of wood between it and the hammer so I don't bugger the threads on the end of the rock shaft. Okay, I'm taking the brake drums off, or the brake band. I like to take these off together, and I think it's important to make sure you don't get these on backwards. So what I do when I take it off is this bolt here goes with this nut, which I know is the front. The toggle bolt through the back here I know is the back. And this goes on here. And that drum should just come right off. It has 4 little indexing pins in here. Keep the drum with the bands together. This is the bolt that was holding the handle on. I'll put this in here so I don't lose it. I've loosened the skeg clamp bolt, so now it's a matter of taking the nuts off the other side and driving it through. This is the packing nut here. Don't want to lose that. So now, let's find a block of wood and I'm going to drive that rock shaft. kind of unusual. I just realized this is a cast iron device, which I did not think I used in 1950. Perhaps the original one had problems. The housing out, I was kind of surprised to realize that it was a cast iron one. It was a little harder on the back than the aluminum ones, but I've taken it out with a minimum of damage. It looks like it did not fit that well, so somebody's made up some supplemental shims here. You see here there are stop waters in here. These are little pegs that swell up. As you can see here, this is a bad spot on a dippy. This is after years of working open and closed, or swelling and contracting, the shim eventually creates a channel. This is underneath. This is the lake here, and the water will want to run right straight back here and into the boat under the device, and there's no way to stop that if these stop waters have not been put in the beginning. See, if this boat was in the water, that thing would probably eventually swell up and fill that gap.